Hi everyone, my name is Shruti and today I'm going to show you some of the cool features that CONTROLsuite has to offer. So tell me, does this sound familiar? We have a process that's oscillating, we can't tune the problem away, and there's no actuator or stiction issue. Where do you look to find a solution? Knowing that your engineering time is limited, do you think a tool that could point your team to a problem quickly could be helpful? In CONTROLsuite, each process area is represented by a large box. Each process area also includes individual loops which are directly associated in that area. The control loops in each area are represented by smaller boxes, and the size and color of the box are key. The system reads a lot like a traffic signal. Green means the process loop is running good, yellow means it's okay, and red means that the loop needs attention. What we look for when we try to decipher a problem are the ones that are large and red. For this demo, we're going to use the example of BWC 100, which is boiler steam pressure. It's oscillating to a point where it's creating an unacceptable amount of variance. And we've tried to tune the loop, but it's still swinging way beyond preferred levels. As you know, there are three reasons a process can become unstable. It can be due to a bad actuator or stiction. It can be because of poor tuning. And the most difficult to identify is something upstream of the process causing the variance. CONTROLsuite has a tool which can assist you in finding that problem. It's called a process interaction map. And it's a graphical-based tool which helps to identify upstream issues and can help you find a solution to your problem. So let's get some more info about BWC 100. We're going to right-click on the loop graphic and select Control Performance Report. This is the performance report for that loop. It gives us more insight on how to solve this problem. So right away, we can see here that our performance score for this loop is poor. And in the highlights section on the left, it helps us understand why. It says it's poor because there is excessive variation in set point tracking, slow disturbance rejection, and that there are oscillations detected. Below our highlights section, you can see our raw data graph, and that shows that process variable and controller output are swinging too much for steady state control. And on the right in the result breakdown flowchart, it confirms all the information that we just read. So let's explore this further to see if we can determine what's needed to improve this control loop. So going further down the page in the same report, we have a 4-gauge set that better helps define what's going on with this loop. The first 2 gauges are set point tracking and disturbance rejection. The system finds that set point tracking is poor and disturbance rejection is slow. The last 2 gauges help us determine where we need to concentrate our efforts. We can tell by looking at this that it's not an actuator issue. CONTROLsuite is pointing to something else that's causing the swing. As we stated earlier, we've tuned this loop a lot, but it does not seem to help. Maybe there's another cause of this oscillation. As you know, there are 3 reasons a loop could oscillate. It could be due to tuning, actuator, or stiction, or something else upstream. In this instance, the trail is leading to something upstream that's causing the issue. In CONTROLsuite, there is a performance interaction map. We can look there to see if there is a loop upstream causing our issue here. To open the process interaction map, you can close out the performance loop report and open up this screen where you will click the correlations map tab. Here is the correlation map. We see a diagonal line of red squares, and that's where each loop in this map interacts with itself. What we want to look for are the ones with the strongest correlations to BWC 100. The loops with the strongest correlations are the ones that are in bold colors. Bold red means that the process is swinging in the same direction, so it's got a positive correlation. And bold blue means that the process is swinging in opposite directions, which means it's a negative interaction. From the graph, we can see that there is one loop that stands out more than the others, and that is FIC 100, which is boiler feed water. So years ago, process data was tracked on a strip chart recorder. Each loop had a paper strip chart and individual pens which recorded the set point, process variable, and controller output data. To find an upstream problem, you had to tape two strip charts together and hold them up to the light. And looking at the data through that, you could see which loop led the other. Using the latest technology, we can now gather that data in a historian and generate the same data in a digital format. Here in blue is the loop we know that has an oscillation, BWC 100, and below that in green is the loop which might be the cause of that oscillation, FIC 100. Notice how they are oscillating in a similar fashion, but one leads the other. Let's look into this a little more. Using the tools in CONTROLsuite, we can zoom in on a segment of data that looks like it's got some pretty interesting features. We've highlighted this in the magenta window. As we zoom in, you can see in much finer detail that FIC 100 is leading BWC 100. And that might be the root cause of our process issue. We can superimpose the data from FIC 100 onto BWC 100, and you can definitely see here where FIC 100 is leading. This is even more definitive evidence that FIC 100 is most likely the root cause of our oscillation. Notice how it's leading the boiler steam loop? Let's go check our performance report for boiler feed water and see if there's any actionable items there. So this is the performance report for FIC 100. The system is pointing us to a potential issue with the actuator. So why don't we look a little deeper to see if we can get that problem fixed, and then look at our data to see if it improved our target loop. As noted in the previous slide, the system is pointing us to an issue with the actuator. If we look at the gauges for this, you can see that there's definitely an issue with the actuator. When this problem is fixed, we can take another look at the data and see if that's solved our problem. After our team fixed the issue with FIC 100, you can see that the oscillation has dissipated. This brings the operation back in sync and both loops are running within its specified limits. So in some instances, this can be pretty substantial cost savings. And more importantly, there may be a ripple effect occurring, and fixing the root cause of one problem can settle down oscillations and make the system even more efficient. That's critical when you're trying to utilize the benefits from an APC package. This concludes the root cause analysis demonstration, and it's just one example of the benefit CONTROLsuite can provide. We will have other public demonstrations, and if you want a private demo, please ask and we will be happy to provide one tailored to your needs.
Thank you, Shruti. We've opened the floor for chat and questions. If you look at the top right-hand side of the screen, there's a box that's got a question mark in it. Please feel free to type your questions in there and we'll be glad to answer them for you.